What's up? Oh, I hope y'all can hear me. I know this late. Y'all know how I do it. I'm gonna do better with this time, y'all. Welcome to Let's Talk with Sister E Late Night Convo. So let me see how many I can get in here. Minute, hold on. It didn't tell me. Okay, one watching. It's kind of late. I know, Saints. Why am I whispering? Like I'm gonna wake everybody up. All right, family, come on in here. We got 4 people. Four. After tonight, I'm done. I'm gonna give y'all a break. So 6 people. Shalom. I just want to kind of talk about the news today. We had fun yesterday with my sis. So I got 8 in here. Hello, Lady B. Hello, Sister Knit and More. Sisters Knit and More. Solomon 144. Hello. Extreme BK. Hello, shalom. Oh, wow. Darnell, shalom. Solomon, I'm glad somebody liked my late night lives. I'm a night person. All right. On unorthodox. I hope I'm saying that right. Y'all got some unorthodox names. Charlie, y'all said I am up this time. All right. Andre Bell. Hello. Welcome. So, family, we got 11 people in here. I am going to talk about news. Y'all know I love the news. I love current affairs. That's my thing. That's my hey. Chanda. I'm Chanda. I'm trying not to mispronounce names. I'm horrible with names. Unorthodox daughter of Zion. You know what? That's cool. How you kind of shorten that. Y'all, I'm gonna have to change. I was thinking about changing Sister E to another name. I was thinking about changing my name because, I was actually thinking about moving over to my government name, but I was like, I don't know about all that. I already get strange Facebook requests, and I just be like, I don't know you. But and I'm not saying that about everybody. I don't have a problem about people sending me Facebook requests. But I had one person that was a weirdo that sent me a Facebook request and I had to block him. Yeah, I will. I believe in blocking. So, Andre, what's going on? It's late tonight. I know it is. I want to talk about the news, y'all. It's some stuff that has just surfaced that was very interesting. If I did change my name, it would still have Sister. That E is my married name. I realized I gotta change that because I'm divorced. I've been divorced for how long? 12 years now, but I'm still keep it. I'm gonna figure out. I'm gonna give E another spin. I'm just tripping, y'all. I'm tripping this late at night, but I wanted to talk about the news. I want to kind of talk about the news. So it's a couple of things that's transpiring right now. First thing I want to talk about is our president got a warrant. Our president got a warrant. Oh, man, we ghetto now. The U.S. is officially ghetto when your president got a warrant out for his arrest. So, how did a fly get in here? Jesus. I'm telling y'all, this summer, and my father, he walks in and out of the house. And he moves slow when he walk in the house. So he'll bring a friend with him, which is a fly, and I freak out. So our president got a warrant. We ghetto, y'all. We are officially yes, Iran said enough is enough. We coming to get you. We finna arrest you. We about to arrest you. So hold on, y'all. That's funny. It's funny. we ghetto. We ghetto now. We ghetto now. Our president got a warrant. Let's see, y'all. I'm gonna run it real quick. Hold on. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Iran has issued an arrest warrant for US President Donald Trump and 35 others over the killing of top general Qasem Soleimani, and has asked Interpol for help. That's according to Tehran prosecutor Ali Al-Qassimeh and reported by the Fars news agency. The United States killed Soleimani, leader of the Revolutionary Guard's Quds Force, with a drone strike in Iraq on January 3rd. Washington accused Soleimani of masterminding attacks by Iranian-aligned militias on US forces in the region. Al-Qassimeh said the warrants had been issued on charges of murder and terrorist action. He said Iran had asked Interpol to issue a, quote, red notice for Trump and the other individuals the Islamic Republic accuses of taking part in the killing. The group includes other US military and civilian officials, according to the report. The killing of Soleimani brought the United States and Iran to the brink of armed conflict after Iran retaliated by firing missiles at American targets in Iraq several days later.
Yep. So our president officially has a warrant. Tonight,
the coronavirus in America and the stark new warning. Dr. Anthony Fauci.
It's going into my next one. Just slipped into my next one. Hold on one second, family. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Yep, he officially has a warrant, and it doesn't look good for him right now. So let's see. Let's look at the next one. All right, and we're gonna talk about a few other things now. The next thing I'm gonna play real quick, and we can talk about all of it once I showed a couple of videos that I have. I just saw a news report, y'all. And the news report was kind of interesting.
More, let's welcome in Ron Krashevsky.
And the report popped up saying coronavirus could bankrupt some hospitals. That right there, I was like, wait a minute. So let me show y'all this real quick, and then we can talk about it. Hold on. We'll talk about both of them. Come on. Here we go. All right. Let's see.
Chairman and CEO of Stifel Financial. It's good to have you back, Ron. And the hospital bankruptcies, I mean, it's a real threat. What options do they face?
Well, I think that first of all, you've got to commend the hospitals for doing all that they did to make sure that there were adequate beds to handle the COVID. And what that did was it had some side effects, like having people not go to the hospital for anything. And it's difficult today. There's no elective surgeries being done. So the hospitals are losing millions and millions of dollars. And that's a long-term problem for sure.
And so we have the PPP program that can help small businesses. The Fed is just starting to roll out the Main Street lending program that's supposed to be aimed at somewhat larger companies. Would hospitals be eligible for that? I mean, I guess for restaurants, it could kind of fall under either one. But again, the Main Street program is just getting off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Main Street program is loans, and loans are always welcome in any business if you can get them. The hospitals, I think, have a unique set of circumstances here, and it would be almost somewhat ironic if the very policies that we employed to deal with this COVID resulted in our hospitals running out of money.
Yeah.
So if there's any institutions that have a need and probably should get aid, it's the hospitals. I can't even believe that's a debatable question, to be honest with you.
Do you think it is, or is it just a matter of recognition that as soon as Congress is aware of the hole these hospitals are facing, that we're talking about billions of basically grants, just direct relief?
Well, I would hope so. Again, I would, if this issue needs to be elevated in the collective conscious of politics and or business, I'd be surprised. But if it isn't, I'm going to say right now, our hospitals are in trouble, and we need to deal with that, because we need to be able to deal with this if we have a second wave or whatever. We need hospital capacity. So let's not have our hospitals run out of money.
Yeah, and it's a problem for those big university systems as well. They get a lot of their funding from their hospitals, facing that a huge hole there. Let me just ask you, as we talk about the state of the economy generally, what are you seeing at Stifel these days among clients? I mean, are there places that have you more concerned? Because we've been hearing about a general kind of snapback in consumer spending here, but what about some of the harder hit parts of the country? I mean, what can you tell us about what's going on?
I think you hit it, Kelly. It's geographic, all right? It's absolutely depends on where you are. Here in the Midwest, the economy feels like it's coming back faster here. Of course, we haven't had a spike in COVID cases as you've seen in the Southeast or in Texas. So it is definitely by geography. We have offices all over the place, so I can tell you where it feels like things are rebounding and areas where things are going backwards. Of course, the newspapers are telling us that too.
So, hold on. All right. So, y'all, I'm telling y'all, this right here is very interesting. It's very interesting because one thing we got to think about, let me turn my camera on because I accidentally cut it off. One thing we got to think about is companies now are laying people off. And when you're laid off from your job, people don't realize that when I was laid off, the biggest worry I had was health insurance. It wasn't about the money. It was more so about the health insurance, because health insurance is hard to get, and you need it, especially in this time. And praise God that when I was laid off, that the company allowed me to keep my health insurance for free for 6 months, which is a blessing. And some companies are doing that. But when you have the number of furloughs that we've been seeing here lately with these major companies, you are going to have a bunch of individuals that have, pretty much lost their health insurance along with COVID right now. So I look at that as being one of the things that's going to be a part of it. Because again, I can get, and there's so much the state can do to support you with health insurance. You can do the state funded health insurance, but you end up going to, it is not what it used to be, put it like that. We used to have something here in Tennessee called TennCare. TennCare was the health insurance for people that didn't have the income, didn't have the jobs to be able to get a decent, health insurance plan. So they ended up going over to TennCare, and TennCare was pretty good back in the day. Now, after they did Obamacare and all that, a lot of those state-funded health insurance plans that they used to have, those Medicare plans, all of those are pretty much like, they're managing, but they're not managing like they used to, and then not to mention Trump closed up a lot of the extra benefits that came from Obamacare. I didn't participate in Obamacare, so I didn't totally understand it. I knew you could go and shop for health insurance. And you could find you a pretty decent health insurance provider. And it was like it was like against the law not against the law, but you could get fined for not having health insurance. I'm not quite sure if that's still the same now. But my biggest worry back in the day with health insurance was what they used to give you. You couldn't have a gap in your health insurance, because then they could tag you when you moved over to your company or your next company as being what is it called? Pre-existing condition, or anything that came up would be they tried to tag it as pre-existing condition because they wanted you to have a certificate for health. If y'all remember that, when you would change companies, you would have to go back to your old health insurance company to say, I need a certificate for health or whatever to ensure you up. What's going on? You used to have that to be able to transition over to your other health insurance. I don't know if they do that anymore, but I remember doing that a couple of times. And I thought that was really stupid. But it's a lot of things in play right now. And the biggest thing is you have the coronavirus going on right now. And then you have the furloughs and the layoffs. And like I said, some companies are maintaining health insurance for individuals they lay off because it's usually sometimes a part of their package. It was a part of my package. And you can have, like I said, your health insurance for 6 months for free. So I didn't have to worry about health insurance. Praise God that I got a job right when that was about to end. And then they try, and it's Cobra. Cobra is good when it's free. When Cobra is not free, it's not good. So let me see. And then another thing I ran across. Hold on. Let's see. My next video. Let me go into the next video real quick. Hold on. Oh my goodness. This little fly in here is about to wither my nerves. Hold on. He is a nuisance. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Here's the next video I'm getting ready to do. Gotta love it. It's getting more and more interesting, family. Hold on.
She telling Congress the U.S. could hit 100,000 cases a day. 16 states now pausing or rolling back reopenings ahead of July 4th. Will California announce new stay-at-home orders as cases explode? In Texas, a new single-day record. And what Fauci said on a new testing strategy. The battle over masks. Dr. Fauci and other top health officials pleading with Americans, put them on. And the new study, which face coverings protect you and others the best? Joe Biden escalating attacks, his first news conference in 3 months. Biden accusing President Trump of surrendering in the COVID-19 battle. And what he said when asked, has he been tested? Did President Trump know and when about U.S. intelligence alleging Russian officials offered bounties on American soldiers? Our new reporting on just how early the White House found out. If you're planning to fly to Europe, the new ban announced today. The new turn in the Elijah McClain death investigation, the reported photos that led to multiple officers being placed on leave.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone, from our Los Angeles studio tonight. California, one of several states that appears to be losing the battle against COVID-19, urgently rushing to try and turn back the clock on reopening as America.
So, y'all, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be real interesting. This COVID is going to get interesting. I know that a lot of colleges now, and a lot, even, high schools or schools, period, are pushing their start dates back. I know that Memphis schools have pushed their start date back to, push their start dates back to, I want to say August 29th. So they pushed their dates back for school. And I know that the colleges now are starting to send emails talking about virtual classes. So something is going on. The colleges are, like I said, making changes. Companies now are moving towards more of a virtual environment. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about. Hold on. But companies are now moving over to a virtual environment. And so with the combination of things that are, let me see, my kids' college is starting early. Wow. I know some of the colleges, hold on. I forget that I'm on StreamYard now and I can show my comments, but, show this one. So yeah, that's interesting. I know that some colleges are starting early, or no, they're starting late. But also, though, after Thanksgiving, they're done. They take their finals for Thanksgiving and they don't come back until after winter break. So their winter break is a bit extended. So where we would, take them, Thanksgiving, and they have to go back to school and then do, exams and get prepared. So yeah, they're going to before Thanksgiving, they're finishing early. So, and then after that, it's kind of like up in the air, because the biggest concern is, will this spike up going into the winter? Also, I saw another news report recently. I think it was yesterday. Swine flu has resurfaced. Pigs in China, they found a new strain of swine flu. So I got a feeling this winter it's going to be a barrage of things going on. It won't just be COVID. I think COVID is going to be COVID on steroids, and plus other stuff going on. Let me see. In my state, in my state, the governor is trying to make people return back into the class. That's interesting. It's like, I'm going to tell you something. It's like this. They gotta have normal. It's like, we're going to do anything possible to feel normal. And really, it's not. It's like, you got to change. It's like folks cannot change the plan. You get what I'm saying? They got to feel a level of normalcy. And that's why it's such a spike up right now, because people needed to feel like everything, like it's just going to go away. And they made a mad dash to Florida, mad dash to California, to Texas, all these different cities to have fun and hang out, because they want business as usual. And now you got this spike up, and the cities that they were worried about, are doing pretty good now. Hold on, because it was something else I wanted to show. 1 sec. Hold on. What was it? I'm getting ready. Hold on. I mean, it's real interesting right now. Hold on. I'm trying to find something, because I wanted to show another news report where let me see. Schools and COVID. That's what. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, that was 3 hours long. Hold on. Here we go.
Right now is the time.
But back to my point while this little ad goes by. It's like they gotta feel normal. And it's like you're gonna have to make a change of your schedule, hold on.
Is the concept.
I think this is the one right here that I saw.
That central planning with decision-making concentrated in a few hands can never fully grasp the millions of complex individual interactions occurring simultaneously in the marketplace. It is a fatal conceit to believe any one person or small group of people has the knowledge necessary to direct an economy or dictate public health behavior. I think government health experts during this pandemic need to show caution in their prognostications. It's important to realize that if society meekly submits to an expert and that expert is wrong, a great deal of harm may occur when we allow one man's policy or one group of small men and women to be foisted on an entire nation. Take, for example, government experts who continue to call for schools and daycare to stay closed. or that recommend restrictions that make it impossible for a school to function. For a time, there may not have been enough information about coronavirus in children, but now there is. There are examples from all across the United States and the world that show that young children rarely spread the virus. Let's start in Europe.
Now, let's keep in mind, they said here recently that teenagers couldn't catch the virus. And I heard here recently a lot of the spikes were because a lot of them were teenagers. I've seen a couple of news reports where a couple of teenagers have died from the coronavirus. So today, now small children can't get it. They're I ain't gonna say can't get it, but they're less prone to get it. And what's gonna happen is ultimately they're gonna find out they can get it. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead and play.
22 countries have reopened their schools and have seen no discernible increases in cases. These graphs behind me show no surge when schools open. The red line is where the schools opened. There is data from Austria, Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Netherlands. No spike when schools are opened. Contact tracing studies in China, Iceland, Britain, and the Netherlands failed to find a single case of child to adult infection. Here at home, childcare for essential workers continued to be available in some states throughout the pandemic. Brown University researchers collected data on daycare that remained during the pandemic. Over 25,000 kids in their study found that only 0.16% got COVID. And when you get the conversions for staff, there was about 1% more than 9 staff. MCA put statistics, 4,000 kids at 1,100 sites. There were no reports of coronavirus outbreaks or clusters. Dr. Scharfstein, Johns Hopkins states there is converging evidence that the coronavirus doesn't transmit among children like the flu, that it is a risk. Just yesterday, the American Academy of Pediatrics says we got to get kids back in school. We want them physically present in school. They even cite mounting evidence that children are less likely to contract the virus. Ultimately, this all comes down to the fatal conceit that central planners have enough knowledge somehow to tell a nation of 330 million people what they can and can't do. Perhaps our planners might think twice before they weigh in on every subject. Perhaps our government experts might hold their tongue before expressing the opinion whether we can play NFL football or Major League Baseball. Not in October. Perhaps our experts might think twice before telling the whole world that a COVID vaccine likely won't provide herd immunity. We don't know. Why weigh in with these opinions that we have no knowledge of? These are forecasts that may well be wrong. Perhaps our experts might consider the undue fear they are instilling in teachers who are now afraid to go back to work. No one knows the answers to these questions. We shouldn't presume that a group of experts somehow knows what's best for everyone. Hayek had it right. Only decentralized power and decision-making based on millions of individualized situations can arrive at what risks and behaviors each individual should choose. That's what America was founded on. Not a herd with a couple of people in Washington all telling us what to do and we like sheep blindly follow. This all begs the question, when are we going to tell the people the truth? That it's okay to take their kids back to school. Dr. Fauci.
Why he's sniffing.
Every day, virtually every day, we seem to hear from you things we can't do. But when you're asked, can we go back to school? I don't hear much certitude at all. I hear, well, maybe it depends. All of this body of evidence about schools around the world shows there's no surge. All of the evidence shows that it's rare. I mean,
there is no surge because guess what? They followed orders. Let's go ahead and isolate everybody. Italy shut it down. You had to stay in your house and in Italy. In India, they was whooping grown men like they were small children if they saw them outside. That was hilarious, though. I saw they whipped one man in India with a stick while he was on his motorcycle like he was 10. I said, wow, that's what they do. But I mean, it's like they don't want to follow rules. It's like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do right now at the cost of your children. That's what's crazy. Why are they so in a hurry to get kids in school? Correct. Vaccines. I already know they're getting ready to push this vaccine, but they don't even have a vaccine. That's what's crazy. But yeah, America don't want to, they feel like we got to do what we want to do now. And I don't care what's going on. Argue with this disease. It's going to beat you up. And the reason I'm not playing with this is because I know some people that have had it. I know some people that have passed from it. So it's real deal. People saying, oh, it's not real. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. My aunt, actually, she had it and she didn't die from it. She kind of got past it. And I think I had it. I think a couple of people I know had it back in November and October. But I think those ventilators are actually what's causing people to have problems and ultimately end up passing away. But back onto this. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this. But that's interesting. At the cost of our kids.
So politicized this and made it politically correct that the WHO releases that it's rare, and you have a scientist up there honestly giving her opinion. What happens to her? She's blackballed, and her report that she refers to is taken off the website. When you go to that scientist's speech and you try to click on the link, the WHO has now screened it from us because it said something that's not politically correct. That, guess what? It's rare for kids to transmit this. But I hear nothing of that coming from you. All I hear, Dr. Fauci, is we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't play baseball. Well, even that's not based on the science. I mean, flu season peaks in February. We don't know that COVID's going to be like the flu season. It might, but we don't know that. But we wouldn't ban school in October. You might close some schools when they get the flu. We need to not be so presumptuous that we know everything. But my question to you is, can't you give us a little bit more on schools that we can get back to school, that there's a great deal of evidence and it's actually good evidence that kids aren't transmitting this. It's rare and that kids are staying healthy and yes, we can open our schools.
Mr. Chairman, do I have a little bit of time to?
Well, I give you a little. That was well over 5 minutes, but we'll.
Thank you,
Go
Senator
ahead and
Paul.
please answer the question.
Yeah, so very quickly, Senator Paul, I agree with a lot of what you say about, this idea about people having to put their opinions out without data. And sometimes you have to make extrapolations because you're in a position where you need to at least give some sort of recommendation. But if you were listening, and I think you were, to my opening statement and my response to one of the questions, I feel very strong we need to do whatever we can to get the children back to school. So I think we are in lock agreement with that. The other thing that I'd like to clarify very briefly is that when things get in the press of what I supposedly said, I didn't say. I never said we can't play a certain sport. What happens is that people in the sport industry, they could either be people from Players Association, owners, people involved in the health of the players, ask me opinions regarding certain facts about the spread of the virus, what the dynamics are. I give it, and then it gets interpreted that I'm saying you can't play this sport or you can't play that sport. I agree with you. I am completely unqualified to tell you whether you can play a sport or not. The only thing that I can do is, to the best of my ability, give you the facts and the evidence associated with I know about this outbreak. Thank you.
Thank you. We just need more optimism.
Yeah, they don't want to let that go. They don't want to say maybe something's going on. Maybe we need to chill out for a minute. They want business because the thing is, they want them kids in school so parents can go to work. That plain and simple. It ain't got nothing to do with the education of kids, because if you really wanted them to learn in a safe environment, enough of us have computers remote. There's no need to have I'm trying to find another video, but there's no need for us to have, we don't have to kids don't have to physically go to schools anymore. Because now, like I said, we're dealing in a time, we're dealing in a time that, that you can do remote, which is very easy to do. If you have the internet, a computer, they should be able to manage, and that's another report I want to kind of throw up. Hold on. Here's the next one. It's dealing with staggered reentry. Cubicles remote will likely be new normal post-pandemic. And the thing is, we're in it. We're in the computer age. Everybody has a laptop, iPad, iPhone, something. Android, I don't think they do Windows anymore. They got some the kids can use. And some for the parents to use. Because most parents, they get their laptops from work. So it ain't like they got a remote in with their personal devices. Most jobs give you laptops. So you got at least one computer. And now we're living in a world where you can use your Fire Stick, create an app for the kids to be able to do in-home learning, to where they can, kind of like a team or something like that, for them to be able to do it and feel like a classroom setting. There are a multitude of ways they can do this. It's easy. It's not that hard. It's a matter of technology and providing the best solution so that kids can still learn, so they can still have interaction with each other. Kids now, we're living in the digital age. Kids text, FaceTime is so much out here just to get past this. But what it is these companies want to put these people back into work. And one of the things that I know some of the parents are probably griping about is, I can't go to work right now because the schools are closed. So now it's a mad dash. Let's get the kids into school. Yeah, schools supply students with laptops. For the kids that don't have, that are less fortunate. All these government programs to provide cell phones for the mamas, provide them a laptop. It's very easy to do this. It says, I don't have kids, but if I did, I wouldn't send them to most people can say, don't put them in a world system and homeschool them. But it's not easy to homeschool unless you have the tools needed to homeschool. I think really the approach they're taking, we're dealing with people with a dinosaur mentality. They don't want to change and shift for a minute just to be able to say, we're going to manage through this. Instead of fixing it for now, we're going to wind. The time it's taken for this man to sit in front of Dr. Fauci complaining about kids need to go back to school is the same time he could put into finding a solution to manage the situation from now. But what it is, again, is I want things my way. I'm not going to change. And that's the same thing with corporate America right now. Corporate America has to change because of this. You can't cramp everybody into a building now and expect for them to work at their desk. They're moving now more so to what teams can work remote, what teams can work inside the building, what teams can work outside the building. I tell people all day long, IT does not necessarily, unless IT is doing something like with hardware and, helping people with devices, they're the only ones. And, not even help desk need to be in the office. But they can be in the office. But other than that, you can set appointments. But other than that, everybody else can work remote. It's easy. It makes sense. But again, you have a mentality of control where we want them here and we want to make sure they're sitting at their desk. And you're sitting here saying, why? It's stupid. I think it's more of a game, an ego game. But again, too, and another thing, and Servant of Yah, you just made me think about this. He said we should, he said, we should be teaching our kids the things of Yah and come out the Babylonian system. And that's another thing. If we teach them at home, guess what happens? I have control over what they learn. It's a control thing as well. What is that? No, it's my phone. It's a control thing as well. they don't want to. They don't want to. That means we would have control over what. We would have control over what our kids are learning. So it's a thing. Like I said, I think it's more of a thing as for control. And again, if companies are moving towards doing remote, guess what? Schools can as well. But then you got parents that say, I can't do that. Plus, do my job. Plus, help my kids with their homework. Or not homework, but their classwork, because then the teacher, you're literally the teacher now. But again, you can still set up something where even the students would have interaction with the teacher on the device. They don't necessarily have to come get you. Now, when you're dealing with smaller kids, kindergartners, and all that, I can understand how that could be tedious. But I even had a preschooler. When my daughter was in preschool, I hate to say it, if you pop on a movie, you don't hear from her for about 2 hours. Finding Nemo was my best friend for a good little minute, and Monsters Inc. Because there, it's just there are ways around it. And then when you're dealing with smaller kids like that, maybe you can bring them into a school, and it's a little bit more easier because you have less students there and it's more smaller children there. There are ways around it, but some people just want to complain and whine, and they don't want to come up with a solution. So let me see. This is, hold on. This is dealing with, let me cue this up. Hold on. Y'all good? Y'all enjoying this? I'm just showing some things that I'm running across and I'm noticing because, and I'll talk about this right here once it comes on.
CNBC.
Hold on. Here we go.
Thank you very much for joining us on an optimistic tone on a Monday morning. When we go back to an office, whenever that is, for the majority of us, what do you think that office is going to look like? How will it shift according to the research and the companies that you are speaking to every day?
Well, the first thing we have to take into consideration is employees aren't going to come back until they feel safe. So from the get-go, it's going to be a staggered reentry, very slow walk back into the work, and it has to be approached with a great deal of chariness. From a practical standpoint, you're already seeing companies like Steelcase, Herman Miller, H&I, and Knoll that are coming up with solutions that create physical barriers between your traditional kind of desking space. But what you're going to see more in...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Spacely. Y'all hit that like button. Let's get that like button up. Hit it. Because, the opposing team, they going to be ready to hit that unlike button. I could be talking about anything, and it's going to be unlike. I'd be like, wow. But, yeah, hit that like button, y'all. Come on now. Because, yeah, this is interesting. So just hit the like button. Here we go.
In the long term are a couple different things. One's back to the future. You're going to see cubicles. You're going to see more space per employee, which has been dropping since 2000. And you're going to see more offices too. And finally, and it's something that you and I are dealing with right now, you're going to see a lot more working from home. And so when you look at a variety of different companies, some companies have already made the decision, hey, we're going to shift a huge percentage of our employees to work from home. And others, it may be more of a staggered office visit.
Yeah, and I would argue that probably many of the people who do work in an office are probably sitting on a chair or something, or a desk made by either Steelcase or Herman Miller. I would assume that they have already begun to adjust their product offerings to meet these new demands. What are they doing, and what could the business look like?
Well, that's a great point. And a stat you can look at is a company called H&I, and they have had a 120% increase in their e-commerce business, and this targeted to the small office and to the home office. Steelcase is one of the largest global manufacturers, and they're going to be working with partners.
Also, all the people that that's hiding in the back watching the show, not saying nothing, because I done blocked y'all. Y'all can't hit that. Y'all can't say nothing in the chat. Still hit that like button. If you hit the dislike button, I know you're there. So, and if you want Sister E to know, hit that button. But I know you're going to probably hit that like button, that dislike button. That's for the people sitting in the back watching, because I limited their access. But y'all hit that like button. But I'm going to finish up because I do really, really want to delve into the culture. It's going to be a culture shift in corporate America. Thank you for all who've hit the like button also. But it's going to be a shift in how we manage work now. And I saw this coming a long time ago, though. Not this, but I saw there was going to be a need to switch over to this. So let me finish up.
Like JP Morgan or Apple and Google to help accommodate both the work and home. So essentially giving employees the option. If you want to work from home, this is your workstation. If you want to work in the office, this is your choice. Herman Miller also has Design Within Reach. So it also has an upscale version, be able to get products. And then finally, Knoll, with their Fully acquisition, has options for working from home and from the office.
Yeah. Very quickly, is your research showing that we may be more spread out, that instead of 1,000 people at one building, we could have 3 separate buildings with a couple hundred people in it each and a few of us working at home? And that will ultimately require more desks, more chairs, and maybe even, ironically, more space.
Yeah, the number one thing you're going to see more of, chairs, because I guarantee you everyone who's sitting at home is realizing that their home office chair isn't really great. So you're going to see a significant increase in demand for good chairs at a reasonable price. You're exactly right to the point. You're going to see more office space. So the counterintuitive is the office is dead. We don't think it's dead. It's going to look very different over a long period of time. And ultimately, it could benefit the office furniture manufacturers.
So invest your money in office manufacturing companies because of chairs. And you know what? What's so crazy is this. I love working from home when I was working. I love working from home because, and I tell people this, and I was at my job, I did kind of like this thing of explaining why working from home would be good. And one of the arguments I presented, I said, 1, less stress. Majority of the stress when you're getting into the office is getting there. You got to fight through traffic. You got, you're running late. This happened, that happened. Getting there is the most stressful part. So by the time you're there, you frustrated, you stressed out, you don't want to be there, and you're mad. And stress goes down. Also, another thing that I noticed with working from home, okay, certainly I deal with that. But another thing I noticed that was that's a good thing about working from home is the fact of people work longer. I said, if you notice, people work longer when you're working from home, because I might, log in at 8, and then we're living in different time zones. So where if I'm living on the East Coast, if I log in at 8 Central Time, I'm logging in at 7. I think I got that right. Yep. And so on. So time zones are different. So more people will be at work at different times because we live in different time zones. So you have a much broader scale of work time between, what's considered the hours for working. You just have to manage the timing of your meetings. Like I said, but people are more amped to work later because guess what? I might log in at 8, hop in, do a meeting real quick, stop for a minute. This fly is still in here. Hop into the meeting, leave. I might do a load of clothes, fold clothes. Then go from there to maybe I'm gonna, cook breakfast, drink coffee. As I'm doing that, I'm working. Then I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna lose track of time because I don't have a concept of timing because I'm at home. When you're home, you lose track of time. When you're at work, you're looking at the time clock because you're ready to go home. It's just more comfy. I noticed when I was going through my job interviews that I was dressed up from here to here. And the bottom part was shorts, leggings, jogging pants, pajama pants, because you just see this part of my body. And majority of my interviews, I was sitting right here. So you're going to be more comfortable. People are more laid back. And what's so funny is the people that were interviewing me, well, I had on a blouse and a jacket, they had on t-shirts like this. And one woman had her hair pinned up. She was chill. She had her coffee. So I took my jacket off because it was hot. I'm wearing a jacket in my mama's house, in my house, but it was hot. But they were still chill and they were still laid back. People are more. This was coming, but when you're dealing with people with a dinosaur mentality, they can't handle it. The world is not 9 to 5 anymore. The world is not 8 to 6, 7 to however they do it. We live in a 24-hour society. There is no more of, like I said, not because we live like that. We work differently. We don't work like our parents. Our parents don't work like us. I noticed with the generational gap of my mother. My mother is about to retire, but she's still, she's retiring this year. Excuse me, but she's still working. Her issue is, she has to be personable. So this is kind of like, they get a kick, they love going to work and then leave, go eat lunch, all that. I'm like, no, I don't feel like all that. Then dealing with the laptop, and then you got a ton of people on, the Wi-Fi or using your, your network. If you don't have the bandwidth to handle it, signal drop. It's every 5 minutes. Can you come in here and do this? My laptop did this. They're used to dealing with a tower or a desktop, where others, we're used to laptops. What's so funny is the lady mentioned about the chairs. I'm like, I don't need no chair. I am good with sitting on my couch with my laptop in my lap. They got too many of these little, those little contraptions you can put over you while you sit on the couch. And then you got to look at too, cities are going to change, and I know everybody's like, oh, the end of the world coming, Exodus. I know some people in chat are like that. But until Christ comes, we got to still function business as usual, far as our day to day. We can't stop living. Paul's like, man, don't work, don't eat. You got to eat. You got to work. So we got to still look at things as we live life until, he comes. But back to my point, our society is changing. It doesn't bother us to work from home. And then back to my point with the cities are going to change, because guess what? I don't have to be concentrated in one city and is congested because I got to work there. If I can work remote, that means I can work in California, work for a company in California and live in New York. City demographics are going to change. People don't want to live in California because rent is too high. So guess what? I'm working remote. I'm going to go somewhere else where the cost of living is much cheaper. Now it's going to hurt cities like that because they bank on the fact of Silicon Valley and all that people are going to have to live there. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be an exodus of different cities where people are going to be like, I'm out. Like the job I got now, I'm remote. I'm going to, make sure it's cool with my team, but I'm moving. I'm going to move to another city. What's the purpose of me being in a city if I'm not physically working here? So things are going, they're changing. The old guards are having a hard time. My generation, which is considered Generation X, we've been begging for this for a long time. We finally got it. We good. Then the younger generation is like, this is norm. Why aren't we working from home? So the things are changing. COVID made people rethink corporate structure. Now what's funny is it's like people are having a hard time shifting. They don't want to shift. They don't want to say, kids, come out the classroom, come home, work, work remote for classroom. They can't do that. And it's like you're looking at these politicians and saying, y'all can't think y'all way out of that. This is an easy fix. What is IT doing? IT should be able to help you all build a platform or something to be able to handle this. But IT is chilling. When you look at the school system, IT for most schools it's not that good. But I ain't gonna say all, because I know some people that work in IT or work in school systems, but some school systems, they ain't even got their website up to date. So I know Memphis school website is some crap, but I mean, it is changing. It is changing. Okay, so serving to y'all, he ain't got started. Hold on, I'm just messing with you. Okay, so working longer. Say work longer. I say work longer, working from home, but at least I got time to spend in a place where I pay for it. I pay for all this rent, mortgage, whatever. I want to sit at the house, But again, it's like they don't want nobody to be happy, And going back to that point, when I did that presentation and was like, we have to change our mentality when it comes to work. Working is different. Working isn't sitting at my desk, because when you look at it, a lot of meetings, when you're dealing with jobs like that, like I had, a lot of my meetings were over WebEx, or Zoom or Team. So guess what? And then we're dealing with a global environment. My business partner might be in the UK. I've had that to happen. Or my other business partner, or the other team that I'm working with may be in, I think, the furthest out I've ever had was India. But, you got UK, I may have somebody in South America. So the demographics are changing. So if I'm having if every single meeting I have on my calendar has WebEx, why am I going to the office? I couldn't understand that. I said, why am I going to the office when I can do all this at the house? I can sit at the house and do a WebEx. WebEx is this, and it's just, you got too many applications out there to manage the work, And then he mentioned something about office space. You can instead of laying people off, let them work from home and release or let go of liquidate some of these assets, some of these buildings y'all have. You don't have to have as many buildings. Your light bill is going to go down. You wouldn't need to have a facility to hold people. That saves a lot of money. But instead, they're going to keep the building and let the people go. I'm like, there are other means of doing that, because everybody's going to have a laptop. Corporate America, you're going to have a laptop. I don't even think jobs now even let you have desktop anymore, because it doesn't make sense, because you have to take your laptops to the meeting. You're consistently traveling with it. So it's like you already have the tool. You need a laptop and a good tool to use as far as meetings. You good. But they still having problems. Folks can't get with it. COVID didn't made folks change a whole lot. Let me see. You have less. Oh, yes. You have less call-offs. Here you go. People are going to call in less. Why am I going to call in if I got a cold or if I have a headache? Guess what? I can still work. I can still, work a little bit, rest a little bit, work. But it's like this world doesn't want to make life easier. I'm like, y'all don't realize you all are making something hard when it shouldn't. There's some other things that you could be putting your brain around, you're going into the B system. Look, when I believe that I cannot, and I ain't knocking you, serving y'all. I know that the B system is coming, but what people don't realize is the B system is already here. I really believe that it's already here. So it's not like, the B system. The B system has been here for centuries. So, so I don't look at it as being like the beast. So what we need to be focused on is preparing our families for the coming. Yeah, we are, but yet and still, Paul, even in his Thessalonians, had to let the people know, you still got to live. We can't sit at the house and say, oh, Christ is coming. We know he's coming, but we can't cut ourselves off and forget about we still got to live until he comes. When he came the first time, people were still living. People were still doing what they were doing. It's not cutting yourself off in society, because you have to be a light to the world. If you know anything about I think the book of Thessalonians, first one, people had started quitting their job, quitting life or whatever, because they was waiting for Mashiach to come. And then by 2nd Thessalonians, he was like, look, y'all, he ain't came yet. You still got to keep functioning. You still got to live life. You still got to do what you do. You have to still do that. Thank you. Y'all said occupy till he comes. You have to, so we can't dig a hole and say he coming, I'm gonna chill. What I can do to get my kid prepared is know him, have a relationship with him, let your light shine wherever you go. Your light should shine if you're in school, if you're at work, if if you're even out to dinner with friends. You let your light shine. Make sure your witness is good. We can't. I've never been. God gave me a gift, gave me a skill. I'm gonna use it to take care of my family until he comes. But yeah, I don't think. I think being focused on his coming is more so of living a life that's pleasing to him. That's how we remain focused. But yeah, back, talking about, offices and working and whatnot. It's just everything is changing, yeah. And back to you, I'm gonna make sure I make this clear with servant to y'all first before I continue on. I'm not saying don't be prepared. I just want people to not cut themselves off from society because he's coming. That's what I'm saying. In order to continue in this system, we're going to have to take the chip. Serving to y'all, it's not going to be a chip. I don't think it's going to be a chip. I think it's going to be a little bit deeper than that. I had a discussion about a chip. If somebody put a chip in my hand, if I want it out bad enough, I can, I guess, I do surgery myself and take it out. I think it's going to be a little bit deeper. I'm going to do a thing with me and Tayu and all of us, and we'll talk about it, but it's going to be DNA changing. It's going to be seeing, it's going to be a little bit deeper. Taking a chip, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit deeper than a chip. I don't think we need to get to a place where we bought farmland and we're hiding away from everybody, until the Most High God. Now, when he tells us to leave, we need to leave. Yes, it's fly. We need to leave when it's time to leave. It's from, have you heard of CRISPR? Servant of y'all? That's what I'm talking about. Because he says, just in the days of Noah shall be these days. What I think when they were talking about that, it was sin. And also I think that there is going to be, not cut off my hand, but, I mean, chop my hand off. I mean, make a little, if it was a chip right here, take it out, But I also, CRISPR, it's DNA. And if you look at just in the days of Noah as these days, they had already started messing with their DNA and changing their DNA. The chip, but what are we supposed to do until it's time? I don't want people sitting at the house waiting and how am I going to be a light if I'm in the house waiting for the chip when I can be at work ministering to someone? So I think, we have to be ready, but no, I don't believe that we should lock ourselves up in the house. I think we need to continue on with ministry and continue on walking in the, in the faith. But yeah, I've never been one. And I'm one of the ones that talk about DNA changing and all that, and it's coming, and I understand that. But okay, now so many y'all has got started. Let me stay on course because work while it's day. Oh yes, I just listened to that song too. Work while it's day. You gotta work. You gotta continue on. But back to the subject of how society is changing. Society's changing a great deal. Okay, yeah, I see you agree with me. Oh, okay, cool. Servant of y'all agrees with me. We cool. I thought you were trying to say, but I get you. But like I said, society is changing, and this COVID is causing them to change more. Companies are not capable of managing the shift. And again, and what's so crazy is, y'all, I was the company I work for, like I said before, I left. That was one of the biggest things, because I was a part of this committee when it dealt with certain people that came from outside companies. What are some of the things that we could do better? I think that's another reason why I got kicked out. They don't ask me what we can do better. I give you a 30-minute conversation. But one of the things I said was, we have to be able to move and change as time with time. Things have changed. Why do we have all this robust internet and 4G and all this stuff if I'm here all day, at work all day? I can't utilize it but 2-3 hours. I'm wasting my money. I'm gonna turn cable off, because ain't no reason for me to have it. But yeah, times are changing, and I think society as a whole had a big wake-up call. Great. Okay, I'm sorry, I got an email. But society as a whole has changed. And we got to move with the time. As far as health, I think we need to be very careful. Yep, you do have to change with time. You do have to watch, back to my point, we have to watch what we eat. And that's another thing. If I am working from home, I'm going to cook more. That's the one thing that I like. That if I'm working from home, I'm going to cook more. Meaning I'm going to be more attentive of the things that I put in my mouth. Because guess what? Stress eating won't be a thing for me, because I'm stressful because I'm physically there. I'm at home, I'm chill. I'm going to be more focused. People will start doing things more at home. Like gyms at home. I have a gym membership, and God knows I want to go back, because this COVID I call it the COVID-19 pounds. But I know that gyms are not safe right now. So I'm staying clear of those gyms. I'm already a germaphobe, so this made it even worse. Done. I've been studying prophecy. Oh, okay, that's fine. And I'm not saying that. Serving y'all, but okay, I gotta get back focused. But with that being said, people are gonna be more amped to do things at home. People are gonna be more amped to yeah, I mean, serving y'all, I know it's coming. You're talking to one of the ones that understand that the end is coming. But we got to continue working. We got to still live day to day. It's talking about, when he comes, people are going to be getting married. What it was symbolizing in the Bible, and I'm referring to serving Yah, people are still going to be living their normal life. You're going to be living life. They're not going to be locked in the house waiting. I'll give you my email address. Hold on. I'll give me your email address. And just email me. I just gave you my email address. I think that's right. Yep. But again, things are just changing. The demographics are changing. People are just going to be, it would be better in the time we're in. Also, what I love is what I would like with this, with my, our kids not going to school, I would have more an influence on my child than the world would. I want my child to have social skills. Yes, I'm not saying that, but you can be able to have a better handle of how you interact with your child and what your child get exposed to. Now, keep in mind, well, you know what? I have managed working from home and her being at home with me, so it was never an issue, because she was always She's an only child, so she knows how to entertain herself. But I mean, it's just more interaction, more interaction with family. So yeah, it's a good thing. So that's why I kind of wanted to talk about COVID, because again, we're seeing that these numbers are spiking up, and I'm not one of those. I believe that, yes, I believe the government has something to do with it, but it's here now. I think it's something going to be even worse that's coming. COVID is just going to be, again, I believe that we are about to walk into World 2. We're already in the midst of World 1. Let me see. It's another one coming up, another potential pandemic. I'm going to go into this real quick. So with that being said, now that we've, talked about COVID, it's another pandemic on the horizon, family. It's another one. Oh, no, it's not even COVID. To all my brothers and sisters that fight us when we say quit eating that pig. All right, here we go. Keep shoveling that pig in your mouth. You're going to be a part of a new epidemic. Oh.
States have announced they are so people can see the 16 states have announced they are pausing or hitting the brakes on reopening plans to different degrees. In most of these states, though, it's measures like closing bars. We're seeing that in a lot of places. Not opening beaches on Memorial Day, July 4th weekend, I should say, Sanjay. Now, these seem like reasonable decisions, but how far will they go? Is this enough?
Yeah, well, I mean, under the current situation, we see how the numbers are changing. We see how they're growing. And this virus, once it starts to really get enough steam, it's present enough in the environment, it's going to move faster and faster. That's that exponential growth that we've been talking about. So it does make the case that something more may need to be done. And, I think that we are dealing with a situation now where we may need to actually go down into shutdown sort of mode in some of these places again to really try and break the cycle of transmission. Something needs to be done. I mean, the idea that we're still having a conversation about masks, these basic public health measures, I think is going to seem very silly, a few weeks from now. It's whether or not they do it now or they do it later, it's going to have to be done. I mean, when Dr. Ann Schuchat's talking about the fact that things are starting to spiral out of control, that's what she's sort of referring to. One thing I'll mention as well, obviously indoor sort of gatherings where you have a lot of people indoors together, unmasked, that is a breeding ground for this virus. I think most people realize that by now. So crowded indoor restaurants, crowded indoor bars, definitely. But I would also add to that list, as we've done some of our reporting around the country, that large private gatherings inside people's homes, those are harder to monitor, obviously, harder to enforce, but that's got to be key. And I think people really have to rise to that, because a lot of people are doing these gatherings inside their homes, and we're starting to follow, to the extent that it can be followed, trace those people back to their own homes and further spread.
And as we're looking forward, Sanjay, obviously we've got a long road ahead. We know that. But there's this new reporting, the BBC talking about a new flu strain in China found in pigs, but that has pandemic potential. We're already worried about the regular flu season coinciding with coronavirus this fall. What do you make of this?
Well, this is something we've been keeping an eye on. This is called the G4 strain of H1N1. So this is a descendant of the H1N1 swine flu that people may remember from 2009, 11 years ago. What happens in these situations, they've been doing surveillance in pigs for some time, really since 2011. And for the most part, they have not been finding any kind of strain of flu or some virus that was concerning. But there's this one particular virus, the G4 virus, which kept showing up over and over again in pigs. And then they started to look at the workers, the pig workers, humans, and they found that it actually was present in a certain small, like around 10% of workers as well. So that's sort of where we are. What they haven't seen as of yet is any evidence of human to human transmission. So that would obviously be critical. And if it doesn't ever spread human to human, I think this is not something that we're going to have to worry about. But this is real. I mean, this is what virus hunters do. They keep an eye on things like this. And there's all these sorts of surveillance programs going on around the world. Most of them we don't talk about much because we don't want to freak people out. But this is one that we're definitely keeping an eye on.
Yeah, on top of everything else. Obviously, we don't need one more thing to watch. Sanjay, I want to address something because people who watch the pandemic closely have noted that the mortality rate, the number of new deaths every day, has consistently gone down. It's at a low ebb right now. Now, obviously, it's a trailing indicator. As these cases go up, 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 and up, it might rise again. However, if there are younger people making up this group of people who are coming up with the new infections, what questions do we have about the mortality rate going forward?
Well, I don't think we still have a clear vision on exactly what the mortality rate of this virus is because it's always been influenced by so many other factors. But I think there's three points here. One is that this trailing indicator. So I think without question, there will be some impact from all these younger people who are getting the infection and subsequently spreading it. We've been doing a lot of metaphors on this program lately, but they would sort of be the kindling, if you will, for this fire that we're talking about. So not directly setting the fire, but maybe enabling it a little bit more. Two is that, we have learned a few things over the past few months. We haven't learned as much as we would have liked, but we've learned a few things. Patients on ventilators maybe don't do as well as we thought, so ventilators weren't as critical to the care for a lot of these patients as we initially thought they might be. And there's a few therapeutics, remdesivir, dexamethasone. These are things that are being used that could have an impact. We've learned how to better manage these patients. But I think that the biggest thing is this idea that even if people aren't dying, if they're still in the hospital and the hospitals become overwhelmed, what ultimately is really driving these fatality rates is preventable deaths. People in Italy, what we saw, and it was really awful. I was talking to a lot of sources there at the time, was that people just simply couldn't get care. They'd be calling the doctor, calling the ambulance, and they'd be told, look, we're full. There's nothing we can do for you at this point. And so that drives up mortality rate as well, over 10% for a while in northern Italy. That wasn't because the virus had changed. That was because the hospital systems were too overwhelmed. So, these three things in combination have to sort of be managed. The last one, obviously the most important, flattening that curve. But ultimately, we hopefully will continue to learn more in the form of convalescent serum and other things to really help take care of these patients.
There's been a real focus on young people as we're seeing the average age of infection trend down. But we're also hearing from governors around the country that they're concerned about how young people are spreading it, that they are perhaps a little bit more cavalier in their actions. There's a bar in East Lansing, Michigan. 107 cases have now been linked to that, all between the ages of 19 and 23, which begs the question not only of how much it's spreading, but also how concerned we should be about younger people getting sick. Because as we heard, from a doctor in Miami this morning, he's seeing younger patients, but they're sicker.
Yeah. So, overall, if you look at the percentages, I think the data that's held up is true, that younger people are less likely to become critically ill. But the problem is, I think to your point, Erica, is that as more and more young people get sick, the absolute number of young people who develop some devastating illnesses is going to grow because there's just more people who actually have the virus. I think, what we're seeing is the message to vulnerable people, older people. My parents live in Florida. They're in their late 70s. They get the message that they're really trying to be careful. So, and people who have pre-existing diseases, for the most part, trying to be careful. But I think for other people, as they become more cavalier, it could have been expected that this very contagious virus would start to affect them more. I think the big question as we go into fall, as we go into winter, is how much of that spread is then going to go back from younger people, inadvertently, admittedly, from younger people back to these vulnerable populations. I'm fearful that that's going to happen, that, there's going to be people who've been doing the right thing. They've been, managing themselves at home as much as possible, just going out for essential things, who are inadvertently going to become infected because the virus, the amount of virus in the environment just becomes too high.
Now, hold on. So with that report, what I got from it is, one, watch what you eat. All y'all that's eating this pig, y'all got family members that's eating pork. We got to make them aware, because I learned one thing about bird flu, and I'm trying to find the article, and it explains how bird flu came about. Let me see. I can't find it. I'll talk about it another day. But bird flu, it was flu that the contaminated bird gave it to the pig, and because we ingest pig, that's how we were able to get, the bird flu, because I think they say human to bird can't pass diseases like that. But because pig is a waste animal and it carries disease and viruses, when you ingest the food, I don't care how much you cook it and cure it and bake it and fry it, it's still one of those animals that you can ultimately catch something from. So a lot of these animals, I believe that God told us to stay away from was because of that, that these are, carriers. They carry disease. But let me see. The symptoms of COVID broadly cover a ton of diseases. And yeah, it is very broad. But again, it's certain little things that this is that you possibly pork doesn't release toxins. I saw a report, and I'm trying to find it. It wasn't like when you explain what you're saying, Beauty Your Vessels, when you said pork doesn't release toxins. Because again, I saw a report about bird flu and how hold on. I can't find it, and I'm getting frustrated about it. And I have to find it was a documentary. I think this is it. No, it's not. It talked about. Here is it. I'm trying to find it. Can't find it. I will look for the show. I saw the yeah, they don't sweat. So they don't release toxins. Yeah, they don't have sweat glands. Pigs don't sweat. Yeah, they don't have sweat glands. So the toxins usually stay in their body. So when you eat it, you're ingesting whatever filth that they have in them. So but that's neither here nor there. Some people still like the pig. I let people eat what they want to eat. I know that I have given up pork for a good little minute, and because I've given up pork, I have less issues with my stomach, less issues as far as headaches. It's just it's a different feeling, not eating pork. But I don't fuss at what people eat, because people get sensitive about that. I noticed that, especially arguing with the UA community, they get real sensitive about that. I've heard some of them say, well, if you cure it, you should be good. I said, okay, go ahead and cure up that virus. It's still going to be there. But to each his own. You got to let people, figure out what they want to eat. And, people don't realize, most people think that we say this because of, if you eat pig, you're going to go to hell. No, we're not saying that. I don't say that. I don't subscribe to that. I know that Christ is our Savior. But when you do certain things, you're going to deal with the repercussions behind them. So you eat pig, you get high blood pressure and all these different diseases. That's on you. You made that choice. You got to deal with with your decisions. I don't eat it though. Only thing I try to eat now is just chicken and fish, and even very careful with fish. I try to stay. My favorite fish is salmon. So salmon. So I usually eat that. So people eat what they want, and I just let them figure it out. But I do tell them, it's a horrible animal, and in the Bible it says don't eat it. God saw something that said, yeah, don't eat that animal, y'all. And I think someone said, well, Most High God let the stranger eat anything, or the and I'm like, he set a people aside for them to do a work. How they gonna do a work if they sick? But that's neither here nor there. Somebody's gonna say that doesn't make sense, but to each his own. How many pastors do I know that have died due to complications of high blood pressure, or their ministries got cut short because of health reasons, especially diabetes, but back on to the subject of what we're talking about with COVID. That was one of, like I said, one of the reports they were talking about a new strain of swine flu. They're not talking about that on the news. And another thing and that's one of the, the things I try to do. I want to know about what they're not talking about on the news. I know right now COVID is the hottest thing coming, but what else is going on? Is it, another disease coming? Do I think that if we're still here by winter, are the diseases going to get worse? Most definitely. It's biblical. That is biblical that diseases are about to get worse. It's finna get bad, family. So I will say, just eat clean. My daughter actually is trying to move over to be vegetarian. I make the joke that my daughter, she believes she's an Israelite, but she likes the Rasta community eating habits. She don't believe for the saints run and say Sister E's daughter is no, she's not a Rastafarian. She does not believe that Haile Selassie is the savior. She believes Jesus is the savior. So, but she Itel, she's the one that told me that. She loves the eating habits of the Rastas. The weed, she said no, but she already said that is not of God. I laugh at her, but she knows she's an Israelite, but she likes the Rasta community. I'm kind of concerned. I'm like, I'm gonna leave you, need you not. She said no, I just like how they're laid back, and she follows this, I guess, this person that teaches about food. I'm watching her though. She ain't stepping out into the Rasta environment. No, she's not. She just likes the eating habits of them. I think because they have most of them are vegetarian, or even then going as far as ITIL. They eat organic food only. I had to tell her recently, I'm like, organic food is high. We can't buy organic on unemployment. Well, I ain't got unemployment. I had my savings, but when you unemployed, organic ITIL is not something up for discussion. I am not paying $3 for organic tomato. I can pay 99 cents from one at Kroger. No, I'm not going to Whole Foods. She loves Whole Foods and Sprouts and Fresh Market, but yeah, she likes the Rasta's eating habits, so she a little Israelite. She have her little moments. She said, I don't like y'all. Y'all argue all the time. The Rastas don't argue. I was like, we really don't argue. We argue with folks that come at us, but that's neither here nor there. But she's into the like I said, their eating habits. But with that being said, because she's into their eating habits, it's making me aware. She's trying to y'all want to talk about the locusts. I'm trying not to be gloomy. Hold on. Y'all want to talk about the locusts. Let's go and talk about the locusts. I'm finished shift now. Let's see. The locusts. I haven't heard anything about locusts here recently. No, what I've heard about is the dust storm coming from Africa. Have y'all heard about that? I think somebody mentioned it in my chat about I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I know we about to get delivered up next. Y'all are hilarious. Y'all be giving me a hard time. Jeez. I'm just joking. Let's talk about the locusts. I haven't heard anything lately about the locusts. But like I said, I've heard a lot about the Mormon crickets. I haven't heard about that one. Jesus. There's another set of bugs. But how about just the southern fly? For some reason this fly it's the only one in the house. Can't stand a fly. And I can't stand that, but they slip in the house. But I got the air condition on 30. I said I'm gonna win today. If you in the house, you ain't gonna last long. It's real cold in my house. So he can swarm if he won't. He gonna drop dead in just a little bit because this house is like a refrigerator. I made sure of that. But back on to the subject at hand. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I'll look that up and we can talk about it. But I know with this back to the sandstorm, it was pretty bad. I have friends to say that they saw the mugginess in the sky during this time. I didn't see that. I just didn't see it. But I'm not about, I go out and come on back in when I have to. So I'm trying to see.
Mornings were made for
dust storm real quick. You saw it in Texas? I didn't see it. I didn't see it in Memphis. Like I said, a couple of my friends said they saw it. I didn't.
It's dead.
But we can look at that one real quick. Then I'm going to look up this Mormon cricket. I kind of like...
And dirty, a gigantic dust cloud nicknamed Godzilla. Seen from space, traveling thousands of miles from North Africa and through the Caribbean. Here's Puerto Rico before and after, now sweeping parts of the southeast.
This particular event has characteristics that have not been seen, at least in the past 25 to 30 years. The sheer area covered by the dust in the atmosphere.
Technically, it's called the Saharan air layer, a large plume of very fine dust and sand particles formed over the Sahara Desert, typically seen during late spring, summer, and early fall.
Is there anything that people should be doing when going outside?
Persons who are susceptible to respiratory problems, asthma, so on, would want to avoid being outside.
Research suggests air pollution could make COVID cases worse. All the more reason to wear a mask.
Look, I remember when that sandstorm hit. It didn't mess with COVID. It messed with my allergies. I remember that a couple of days ago, and I'm still dealing with some of the ramifications of the dust storm. I think it was a couple of days ago. It's a Monday or Tuesday. I've been dealing a lot. Like yesterday, man, I had a sinus headache that would not stop. In fact, the sinus headache was last night while I was doing the live. I got better as, I continued. But when I first started the live yesterday with Renice, it felt like elephants were dancing on my head. But I felt better towards the end. But back to the sandstorm. But yeah, I when I think about it, when I saw that picture, we did look hazy. But I guess I don't pay that much attention to it sometimes. But it did. I get what they're saying now. It wasn't as visible. All right.
Which scientists say will also help with the dust. It's the latest in a summer of extremes, including a record-setting heat wave in Siberia. There's even been a swarm of locusts, billions of them, wreaking havoc in parts of East Africa and South Asia, the biggest outbreak some countries have seen in 70 years. Thankfully, Godzilla is forecast to eventually make its way out over the Atlantic. In the meantime, some are enjoying spectacular sunsets, like this stunner out of Texas.
I'll suffer the sinuses just a little bit to get a really pretty picture and everything that's going on in this world. And we're just really blessed to be able to see that every single night.
Proof every cloud has a silver lining. But in this case, it's gold.
She said she'll suffer with sinus just to get a picture. I wish I would. It is never that serious for me.
Today, Erin McLaughlin, NBC News.
I was joking earlier when I said all we were missing were the locusts, and now we find out they've got a swarm of them, a plague of them in Africa right now as well.
Turns out they're coming as well. Unbelievable.
What a mess. Let's get a first check of the weather right now. Meteorologist Bill.
Wait, she said they was in Africa and they headed over here. Saints. All right, servant of y'all, we know it's coming. We know destruction is coming. I know it is. The crazy dreams that I've had for the past 3 years. Then my daughter had crazy dreams here recently. It just eased up here about a week ago, where she can get a good night's sleep. But I've been having strange dreams. Again, I had one dream. We were in a big city, and it was like New York. This was a dream I had. In the dream, and I'm jumping to the dream because I'm addressing servant of Yah, because he's been servant of Yah. Let me ask you this again, man or woman? Please tell me, because y'all have these names, and I don't want to. Yeah, I saw that, beauty of essence, but man or woman, servant of Yah, because I don't want to say her or him. Just let me know. But if make sure I say the right thing. But I had with everything, yeah, I know you just a straight shooter. I want people to know. Yep, and it's good. Let them know. But I had a dream that my daughter and myself were in a big city. And okay, cool. I know, beauty of essence, you a woman, because I don't think it's a man that's gonna have a name, beauty of essence. If he does, something ain't quite right. But I know you're a woman. But I'm talking about servant of Yah. But in the dream, my daughter was on a train, and she was looking for me, and it was like we were in New York or somewhere, a big city. And I was on another train looking for her, and we finally found each other, and everything around us was crumbling. And I think I told y'all about this dream. Everything around us was was falling apart, like it was buildings crumbling before our eyes. And when I found her, I grabbed her and I kind of cuddled her, held her, and hid my face and closed my eyes, because I was scared, but I knew, destruction was around. And then I remember in my dream, an animal kind of ran across or tapped me or did something. And what made me open my eyes in a dream was, it was an animal that tapped, or, it went from being that to animals. And I'm like, wait a minute. In a dream, I opened my eyes and the entire area had changed. It went from being from a city to a beautiful, it looked like field with beautiful grass, beautiful house. So it went from being in destruction to peace. So that's why I see it. Something's coming. Something's coming. That's when I was having like a lot of dreams. My dreams have eased up a lot. So I can't remember. But again, when I have dreams like that, it's usually warning me of what's to come. So I know it's coming. But until then, we got to work. We got to do, I'm not saying it to you, servant of Yah, but, until then, we continue in our walk, being a light. I'm not yawning. Jonathan Mary, I'm not yawning. Well, I am yawning, but I'll be all right. But yeah, that dream was something else. That dream was something else. It kind of shook me. It shook me to my core. It didn't shake me, but it gave me confirmation that that something, it was about to be a change. But what was a good part of that dream, when I came to and opened my eyes, the most interesting part was, it was like a raccoon or something came up to me and kind of tapped me on my knee to kind of get my attention. And that was the part of the dream. It freaked me out because like, oh, raccoon. And I looked up. Everything around me was paradise and animals were at peace. Raccoons attack. In this dream, the raccoon tapped me on my shoulder or tapped me on my leg. It was like, look around. And I looked around and it was peace, and it's paradise. So, Hold on. All right. Yep, it was peace. So it was an interesting dream. It was a very interesting dream. But we got to be very much so prepared, and we got to be prayed up. Oh yeah, back Sister B, Beauty of Essence. I was having a dream during the beginning of my journey. Right when I found out who we were. And I started reading my Bible all the time, and I was and I want to kind of get back to that place because I actually read the Bible page by page. Really, I was listening to the headphones, and then I read, the Bible, but I was going from Genesis all the way down to Revelation because I was that much of it on a journey, and I was listening to a lot of Darby. And one night, had that dream. But that was right when I found out who we were. Is when I started having dreams. So it was interesting. It was interesting. So I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else for everybody. We've been out here for about an hour and 20 minutes. Anything else y'all want me to look into before I leave? Because yeah, I know I want to see the locusts, because the lady did kind of slick throw that out there that the locusts are coming. I'm like, oh, here we go. Oh man, let's see. Oh wow, yeah, I forgot to tell y'all. I saw a news report. The Ukrainian Jews are going back to Israel. That's all I gotta say. I'm not going to show that right now. I can't find it. I gotta go find a report on that. But the Ukrainian Jews, I think this was about a week ago, are back in Israel. Hold on. Let me see. They are, literally back in Israel. And you got, what's interesting is, I know that's a fake prophecy. Everybody, I noticed people in the comments. What's so interesting about when I saw the report and I looked in the comments, everybody was like, oh, praise God. Their prophecy unfolding in our eyes. Let me get right because I know, Jesus is coming. Let me get right. And I kept saying, let me get right. That's what I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that this report was on, them going to Israel. I was more so paying attention to the comments. Oh, Jesus. I said, he said, we don't know the day nor the hour. Oh, look at now when the Jews look like them. Oh, let's love them. Let's pray for them. Let's support them. But the minute we say the Jews look like us, there is no Jew or Gentile. I ain't see that nowhere in the comments. Jew nor Gentile. I ain't see that. I did not see that nowhere in the comments, saints. That's all I saw was welcome home, welcome home, welcome home. Oh, it's just such a wonderful day. Welcome home. And I'm like, but there is no Jew nor Gentile. Where's that scripture? Where is it? But deep in them comments, our folks was in it. It was some Israelites in the midst of it. And they rocked it. Let me see if I can look that up. I'm finna get my channel shut down. I gotta show it. I ain't saying nothing mean about them. I ain't gonna say nothing mean because I can't fault them. Some of them don't even know. And we gotta still walk and remain in love. Let's see. Here we go. For my now, everybody be nice in these comments. Oh, I'm gonna scream. Do you know the scripture that says every nation will return to their own land? If so, explain it if you have time. Are you talking about when it talks about the gazelle? as the gazelle. I know what you're talking about. I think it's Isaiah 13:14. So you're talking about Isaiah 13:14, where it says, like a hunted gazelle, like sheep without a shepherd, they will return to their own people, and they will flee to their native land. Are you talking about that one? Because that's the scripture I always reference. This one, when they say everybody will return to their land. This one, Isaiah 13. Yes, yeah. I think with that prophecy, that's when everybody will return back to their homeland. I think that'll be a part of the return. The place that I think that they're speaking, well, all over the world, people are going to return, but more so here, I think, because this being such a melting pot. But yeah, and that's the NIV. But that's what I think. I think that scripture deals with when everything starts going awry, people are going to return back to their own lands. They're going to return back to their own people, their own place. I've always thought that. I always thought that because I said, I said this once. I said, if God is going to deal with a nation. Come on, let me see. Hold on. So it can't be talking about the millennial. I don't think it's the millennial reign, because if you look at Isaiah 13:13, it says, therefore I will make the heavens tremble and the earth will shake from its place at the wrath of the Lord Almighty in the day of his burning anger. Then it goes into like a hunted gazelle, like sheep without a shepherd. They will all return to their own land. They will flee to their native land. So I don't serve any. Are you saying Jeremiah 50 is the millennial, or are you saying Isaiah is the millennial? Because I don't get that from Isaiah 13:14 and 13:13, because I think it deals with on the day of destruction when everything around us is going to fall apart. People are going to flee and go to their homelands. Is that what you're saying? Which one are you referencing, servant of Yah? Jeremiah or Isaiah? Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, yeah. It's dealing with people going back to their own land. So I hope I explained. Is that the one that you were talking about? Who asked the question? Who was it that asked the question? I think that was, oh yeah, Miss Renee. Okay, yeah. So that's what I think. I think on the day of destruction, when judgment comes, everybody's gonna start fleeing. I really think it's talking about here in a lot of cases. I think when destruction hits here, everybody here is going to start fleeing to their own lands. So which one is Jeremiah 50:16? Let me see what that one says. Hold on. Say 50. There it is. Cut off from Babylon the sower and the reaper with his sickle at harvest, because of the sword of the oppressor. Let everyone return to their own people. Let everyone flee to their own land. Yep. That's it. That's the exact same scripture. I should have read 15, because 15, it says, shout against her on every side. She surrenders. Her tower falls. Her walls are torn down. Since this is the vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance on her. do to her as she did, as she has done to others. I think they talked about here. And then it goes into cut off from Babylon, the sower, the reaper, and the reaper with his sickle at harvest. Because of the sword of the oppressor, let everyone return to their own people. Let everyone flee to their own land. I think that's the same thing. I think once everything around us, when everything started going left, and I think everything started going left here, everybody's going to start fleeing. I tell people this. We haven't even seen the biggest earthquake. I'm going to be real with you. There is one earthquake that I believe if it hits, it's going to cause so much destruction that it's going to shake the very foundation. It's going to cause other catastrophic events. What is it? New Madrick fault. Oh, you're more than welcome, child of the book. But the New Madrick fault, or if there's an earthquake, I think the city that would get hit the hardest is Memphis. Memphis would get hit. We would get hit here. We would get hit the hardest because I think we're like right in the middle of it. But because we sit on a bluff, the river is going to cause a problem with the river. So half of Memphis is probably downtown is going to be engulfed by water. And then we have this one location in Memphis that's a man-made island that now people are trying to buy the houses and get out. That'll be gone. It'll be underwater. Half of Memphis probably will be underwater. If you know anything about the Mississippi River, like I said, a bluff is it's like a pack of dirt sitting on water, and it takes one incident and it's submerged. I think last time they had the earthquake here, and I think that was like in the early 1900s. I think it was. It changed the direction of the river, the way it was flowing. But I think that right there will be the thing that will. I even think it's going to impact the Yellowstone Park, the super volcanoes as well. It's going to take one major earthquake. And the one major earthquake that everybody is worried about is the earthquake here. The earthquake here will be so catastrophic that I pray Sister E is good. I'm gone. If I'm not, I'm with the Most High God. Let me see. Here go the saints with the prophecies. Let me see. Y'all still up with me? Y'all still hanging? Y'all still hanging? Okay, we can look at this. I see why Cherry be on for 6 hours. It's fun. I don't watch that. It's fun sitting out here. Let me see this fly. Jesus, it's just one in the house. Okay. It's got to be a super fly. Oh, here goes somebody with a Memphis earthquake dream. Hold on. Yes, I promise you. It's one. And I promise you, I thought he would be dead by now. With this air. Let me see. Yeah, it would have been nice for Pastor Darby he would be preaching. he would really be talking. It's not showing anything about Memphis earthquakes. Hold on. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research. I do a show on that when talking about earthquakes because it's 2 fault lines. I think it's the fault line from here on up, and I think it's the California fault line. Pastor Johnson, I'm loving StreamYard. I'm gonna end my Zoom account. Only reason I'm gonna keep my Zoom is for work purposes. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of stick to that. Yeah, it's gonna split the US. It is, and I believe that's what's gonna send everything into a tizzy. I think it's been kind of quiet here. And that's why I'm like, it's a little too quiet here. Ain't nothing really going on. I'm like, Lord, please, Lord, let me be. I don't need that right now on me. I'm just joking. But I think it's going to be pretty bad. I'm trying to find the article. I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more because I can't remember where it was. Yeah, San Andreas in California. Here is the New Madrid fault line. So it would hit, I know if that hit, it would hit Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, I think a little bit further down, but the fault line would be, we haven't had an earthquake. They say it's so bad. That's it. Hold on. Let me see. Let me find it. And their biggest worry is Memphis, because Memphis is a bluff. Where is it? It said St. Louis and Memphis are going to be hit really bad. Let me see, because it's right in the middle. Let me find it. Y'all give me 1 second. I should have said this was a long time though when I looked. Hold on. Y'all bear with me. Hold on. I'm trying to find one article I saw about it. Hold on. Where is it? Bear with me. Let me see this year. Hold on.
The burning channel's back.
I think this is it. Hold on. That ain't it. I don't want to show y'all anything. Hold on. I may have to do a separate show dealing with this earthquake, because this is a whole show that hold on. Fault lines in America. I think
one of the questions a lot of people have been asking.
Here we go. I think this is the fault lines in America. Let's see. This is one. Yep. Here we go. These are earthquake fault lines.
Asking in the wake of that massive earthquake in Haiti is, what about the risky fault lines right here in the United States? There are many, and they're in parts of the country you'd never expect, not just California, but places like Missouri and Tennessee. So how many Americans are in danger? And what if a huge quake hits here? Sam Champion is on the New Madrid fault line in Memphis, where there was a tremor just over the weekend. Sam?
Yeah, and George, the interesting thing about the New Madrid Fault, which was one of those surprising ones, is it runs from Memphis all the way into St. Louis. So there are millions of people right in the middle of the country that are affected by that. But we went to the top seismologists in the world to find out that there actually were historic earthquake events in the United States. And believe it or not, earthquakes happen here just about every day.
The thing with earthquakes is it's location, location, location. So as we saw with this devastating earthquake down in Haiti, that was a magnitude 7 rupture, but more to the point, it was directly underneath very large population.
Just like California, where most Americans may think all our earthquakes are centered. But California's San Andreas is just one fault zone. There are at least 4 active earthquake zones that cover this country, all of which seismologists say have had historic eruptions, and each could have another catastrophic strike at any time.
Earthquakes are a national hazard, and it's in these areas away from California, away from the places we think about, where there can be some of the greatest risk.
What about America's heartland? We're on the second most active fault in the country, and that's the New Madrid Fault. It runs from St. Louis to Memphis, and this is Reelfoot Lake, 16 miles long and created 200 years ago by what is still today the most powerful series of earthquakes in American history. It happened nearly 200 years ago on the morning of December 16th, 1811. An estimated 7.5 on the Richter scale. It was followed by a series of 2,000 aftershocks over the next 5 months, some measuring 8.0 and felt as far away as Boston. New Madrid is the biggest fault line east of the Rockies. It extends 120 miles through 5 states, cuts across the Mississippi River in 3 places, and slices the Ohio River in half. Even now, the area averages a tremor every other day. A major earthquake here would affect 15 million people in 7 different states. Do we think there's a big earthquake on the way for this zone?
Yes, we have a history of large earthquakes that have occurred here, at least over the last 1,500 years, about every 500 years. And those earthquakes occur as large sequences of events, not just a main shock.
New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania have the 70-mile-long Ramapo Fault. These streaks are really all that's visible of the Ramapo Fault, and they continue all the way up this rock. It's one of the largest in the Northeast, and we're really just about an hour outside of New York. Never heard of it? Well, it's been quiet for a couple of hundred years, and seismologists say that's part of the problem.
We know in the future at some point an earthquake is going to occur, but we don't really understand the rules of the game yet in this area.
What we do know is the last major activity on the Ramapo Fault was a 5.2 centered in Brooklyn, New York in 1884. And if that same quake hit today, there are now 8 million residents of New York City. All could be affected by the Ramapo Fault's dangerous reach.
One important fault is the one that crosses Manhattan from the Hudson River to the East River, more or less along 125th Street. That's a well-known fault. There are tunnels constructed for the water and for the subway lines underneath that cross this fault.
And of course, there are 2 other hotspots. One, a subsidence zone that's just off the Pacific Northwest coast. It's in the water, but it's pretty active all the time. And the granddaddy of them all is the San Andreas Fault. There are thousands of earthquakes there every year. George?
Hey, Sam, thanks very much.
That was fascinating, Sam. Thank you. You said your girls were asking you this weekend about earthquakes?
Very natural fear. They see all these pictures. They wondered, can it happen to us? Can it happen here? I had been talking to Sam on Friday, so I knew a little bit about the Ramapo Fault. We have a lot more information on our website at abcnews.com.
Experience Boost raised my...
I'm telling y'all, it takes one. I really believe that it's going to be a situation where it's going to take one major one. And I really, really, really believe it. That the San Andreas Fault line that's between Tennessee and Kentucky, and it splits the Ohio River and is in the Mississippi River, is going to be the very thing that's going to cause everything else to go into. It's going to cause everything else. We can do another show on dealing with prophecies. New Madrid fault line. It's gonna be the one. It's gonna be the kickoff. It's gonna be the kickoff, and it's gonna be so catastrophic because, again, that earthquake is not just sitting and Tennessee and in other areas, it cuts across the Mississippi Bridge and even goes into the Ohio River. That's going to be, that's Memphis' biggest nightmare. I'm going to be real with y'all. That's Memphis' biggest nightmare. You want to see somebody scared of Memphis. You tell them, oh, we think that that earthquake is getting ready to hit. You will see us clear out this city so fast because we've been taught about this earthquake our entire lives. That's how bad it was. We thought we were going to get the earthquake back in somewhere in 2000 or 90 something. I want to say, no, I think it was like 91, 92. I was in high school. I think everything's going to hit when we leaving. But this is before I came into the knowledge of who I was. I just thought, and what the prophecy was. But they told the schools here in Memphis that, they were trying to predict the earthquake here. It was so bad that all the schools shut down. That's how worried they were, because Memphis is going to be the very thing that's going to send everything else to go into left field. That's when we're going to start seeing Yellowstone, because they say Yellowstone is like at a point that it's about to erupt. And if it erupts, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly if Yellowstone. Now, Yellowstone is another one. Yellowstone. Yeah, that earthquake. I remember, I'm looking at what Jonathan just said. Hold on. Here we go. Yep. The 2024 earthquake supposed to cross the area. It crossed the area the first time. I actually saw not earthquake, but the eclipse. Because it's supposed when it does this, it's going to be like this, because I think visibility of the eclipse was like this direction, and then the next eclipse is going to be this, and it's going to make an X. Let me see. It's going to make an X, so you're going to see. It's gonna be interesting. But I'm gonna do another show talking about super volcanoes. I know Yacoba loves talking about that as well. I'm gonna get him on, and we'll talk about it, because it's a couple of things that's gonna transpire. When you look at when you look at Revelation, it's a lot of the catastrophic events like earthquakes. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not. The X means sign and represents 400 in paleo. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to bed. Sister E is a little sleepy. Really, my eyes have been red a lot because of the weather. My eyes have been red off and on. I need to get me some eye drops for my eyes because of my allergies. So it's not that I'm just really sleepy, it's just my allergies are bothering me. And when they do, they get red like this. But I am about to go to bed. I wanted to kind of talk to everybody, and when I said I was going to do more stuff, I'm going to have more people. I got a surprise guest, family, and be nice to him. I'm going to invite Israel Doctrine, Carl Albert, soon. Some people say he's crazy, and I told him, I said, people think you're crazy. Don't you get on my show acting crazy, Carl. I know Carl. He's like, I'm not going to act crazy. I ain't going to cuss. He said he's not going to cuss. So I wanted to talk to Israel Doctrine about polygamy. He just recently had a debate with, I think it's Gorilla Hebrew, talking about polygamy. It was a very interesting debate. Whereas Carl was against polygamy, whereas I think it was Gorilla Hebrew that believes in polygamy. So I kind of wanted to talk to him about the Carl Albert is against polygamy, whereas I think it's Gorilla Hebrew that believes in it. But I said I was going to get him on the show. So I'm going to do that with him. I also have Only Love July 4th on the show. We're going to talk about her book. I'm going to get Ron on soon because I want to talk about Hebrew customs and cultures. I wanted to kind of talk to him about that. But I'm going to have, like I said, Carl, I'm mourning the family. Be nice. I know Israel doctrine is a little unorthodox sometimes with his words. But he's a cool guy. He's actually a very cool guy. He would call in, ask me how you doing your interview. I hope you get the job. He's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy. He just ain't with the foolishness. But he's gonna be on, and so we'll talk about that. Oh no, here we go. Polygamy is good. Rodney, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. I'm glad he ain't right here right now. He is. No, but he'll have some restraint. He's going to explain why I don't believe polygamy is ordained by God, because I look at it from the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. How did God create a relationship with a man and woman? It was just Adam. It wasn't Eve. It wasn't Adam and Eve. And the Jewish myth, because this is a Jewish myth about Lilith. What is it? Lilith. That's a Jewish myth. I can't talk. But it was only one woman and one man. Let me see. So we'll talk about that. So the next upcoming guest, I'll probably have him on. I'll see if I can do it tomorrow. What's today? Today is Tuesday. No, today is Wednesday now. Let's see. So I'm gonna have Only Love on Saturday night. Sunday, I might see if I can get Israel Doctor on Thursday night, and we'll talk. Yeah, it's July already, so he'll be on here. You know who Carl Albert is? Let me show you his page. Israel Doctrine. He gave Africa Bumbata and all of them the blues back in the day. Now this is Israel Doctrine. He's a little unorthodox. Like I said, he's not. He's a cool guy. This is Israel Doctrine. He ain't got his beard no more, y'all. But I'm gonna show who he is. Have y'all ever heard of Israel Doctrine? Hit 1 yes, 2 no. Yeah, I think it's coming up. Okay, 1 if you know him. So this is him. This is Israel Doctrine. If you remember him, what he's really known about is, hold on. Let me see. This is the Israel Doctrine I remember. Oh, okay, then good. Y'all be nice. He did a video on African Bumbata and how the conscious community, how some of these conscious rappers are dealing with African Bumbata had molested a lot of boys that were coming up in the rap game. Because what they'll do back in New York, they'll kind of get with a group and they be cool. In Africa at that time, African Bambaataa had a big name. And I think he had already started working with labels and finding new artists. Well, this dude was literally raping these boys. He's really known for allegedly, let me say allegedly for somebody swing a lawsuit my direction. Allegedly, he raped this guy. Allegedly. So Israel Doctrine, he did a whole series on that, and was calling Africa Bumbata out, a couple of other people. This guy's name is, I think, Ronald Savage. young guy. And the guy literally almost had a nervous breakdown. He did have a breakdown. So you have to look up his story, Ron Savage. It's very sad. I watched some of it and I couldn't, because it's so sad. It's so sad. Allegedly, African Bambaataa would get these boys. They'll be, what's that show that used to come on Netflix about the rapping crew? And it was these little boys in New York that was trying to rap, and they were in different, boroughs in New York, and it was like Zulu Nation and all that. Well, they, back then that was the big thing, back in the 80s. So they would cling to Africa Bambaataa allegedly, at the time, and he would mess with the boys. So Israel Doctrine was really, really trying to get people to talk about it, and then to get African Bambaataa in jail. He's still roaming the streets. So that's when I started watching Israel Doctrine, because this was about 2 years ago. The beef was real. It was real. He's an Israelite. Like I said, I told him no cussing on my show. And he started laughing. He's like, I'm not going to cuss on your show. I'm like, I actually, Israel Doctrine is one of those also that I followed early as well. So this is him. I remember him. This one with the beard. Now he ain't got the beard no more. Tommy Sotomayor. He was all on, like, he's done like a lot of stuff back in the day with Sinetta. He did a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna have him on. I'm gonna call him tomorrow. I'll talk to him tomorrow, and I see if Thursday night is good for him. If it's good for him, we'll do Thursday night with Israel Doctrine. Because I've been telling him I'm gonna have him on the show, but I've been kind of busy. So I'm gonna have him on, and then I'm gonna also have Ron Shields on. I got to get him on because I want to talk about some of the stuff he's been working on. He does a lot for our community, the Black community as a whole. So I want to bring him on. Like I said, I'm gonna do Only Love as well, and I still have to reach out to Dr. Williams, who did the Black History in the Bible, and let him know I haven't forgot about him. So I'm kind of playing catch up. Then doing the women's series, which I'm going to plan that hopefully sometime next week. So, well, that was a quick lineup of what I may be doing soon. But like I said, stay tuned, I think Thursday night, for Israel Doctrine. And if you've not subscribed to his page, subscribe and brace yourself. Because he a trip. But he cool with me. I'm cool with Israel Doctrine. So Carl Albert. Yes. Oh, you know him? He is, yeah. I reached out to him and he said he would do it, and I have not responded because I got sideswiped with all the stuff I had going on with the job interviews and all that. So I'm gonna email him and let him know that we're gonna plan something soon. And but everybody have a good evening. I will talk to you all probably tomorrow. I'll probably do a few things tomorrow. So thank you for joining me at this late hour. If you have not hit that like button, hit that like button. And like I said, if you have not subscribed, which I think you have, subscribe my page, share my page with others so that they can subscribe to my page. It's growing fast. I thank y'all for helping my page grow, because it's because of y'all that I have the subs, because y'all are my subs. But like I said, have a blessed evening. And like I said, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And have a good evening. Good night, family.